Hi everyone, so I want to show you how I made this little cute gift bag. Now I actually found a template for this. I was looking through what I could make, and actually from the Swindon ladies, funnily enough, I found a template for it, a little acetate template, and actually it reminded me to let you guys know as well, if you have maybe you buy something from a show, or I don't know, you make a card and you need a template for it. What the Swindon ladies used to do, one of them particularly, she used to then draw around it onto acetate, mark it all up with the score lines, and then cut it out, and then keep it in a folder. And so I've inherited that folder, and yeah, it's very useful is all I can say. There's a whole wealth of things in there. I'm just like, wow. So I'm going to be working my way through it. So this was one of them, and there was also another one in here that was smaller. So it's smaller than this. It was literally tiny. Really sweet. So I've just worked out the measurements from it and used it to make this one. So you really could, go to town. It's got a little Velcro dot on the inside there. My glue is still drying, so I'm not actually going to do it up. But yeah, the dot is there, so you can seal it up. Or you could leave it open like that if you wanted to. But yeah, so that is what we're going to do today. This is from my stash. These 3 elements are from my stash. These papers are from the 12 Days of Christmas Trimcraft first edition pad, the 6x6 one. Yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so for this bag you're going to need a piece of base card that's 7 inches by 11.5, and along the 11.5 inches side you're going to score at 1/2 inch, at 2 inches, at 6 inches, and at 7.5 inches. I'm going to turn mine so that my little tab bit is at the top, because I'm scoring from right to left. And then you're going to score at 1.5, but you're not going to score all the way at 1.5. So you want to score at 1.5 through the first few pieces, and then you kind of want to score up here. I think what we'll do actually is we'll cut that. So forget the 1.5 score line, because we're going to cut along here, and then we're going to cut a section out of here. But you do need to score at 5.5 all the way. Okay, so let's go back to this score line. So 1.5, and then you've already started it. So if you make a little mark at 1.5 at the top, make a little mark at 1.5, probably along this score line here, or along the bottom of your page. With it this way around, and then what we're going to do is actually let me make some marks before we actually cut it. So you want to lay it on so you've got all your little dots lined up, and then what I would do is make sure that your ruler is like at the starting measurement on that edge. And then what you want to do is you're going to cut all the way down here, and then you're going to stop when you get to this score line, and then you want to come 1/2 inch in, so 2.5, and you're going to cut from 2.5 all the way down to 5.5, and you're going to stop there. Then you're going to cut from 6 to 7.5. Let me turn it around a bit so you can see. And then you're going to cut from 8 all the way down till you get to 11. Okay, so that's what you need to cut. So I've just penciled that in, so at least then we can see where we are headed. So now I'm going to get my Stanley knife out, and we are going to do those cuts. So we're going to cut from here all the way till we reach that score line. If you have a rectangular die that fits nicely and is the right kind of size, you can use that to cut these handles out with. But I'm just sort of going on the thing that, not everyone's going to have that. And then we're just going to cut along here like that. Okay, so that's what, and the other thing as well we need to do is this piece here. Forgot that bit there. So that bit in the middle there, we just need to cut down there as well, like that. Okay, so you should end up with that. Hopefully you can see all that. Then we're going to go ahead and we are going to cut, let's turn this around. I'm going to cut from here down that score line there. So the second one, you want to kind of cut the score line out. So you're going to cut that whole section off. So that whole section there disappears. And you're also going to cut this whole section out. This little square here you're going to cut out. So again, just going to go either side of that score line. try and make it as accurate as possible. So then that piece is out, so you end up with that. So now what we want to do is we want to cut a rectangle out of here. We need the rectangle to be, I've got one here from my little sample that I did, it needs to be about 1 inch by 3 inches. So if you want, this is the best way of doing it, is to cut yourself out a bit of scrap card, cut yourself a bit of card out that is 1 inch by 3 inches, round the corners of 2 of the corners, not the bottom but the top 2, and then place this on your little line that you've just drawn and draw around it and then cut round it. That is what I would do. If, as I said, if you've got a die and you can do it that way, then go ahead and do that way. But if not, then this is the next easiest thing to do, because I tried to draw a box with my sample. I actually drew like a little box and then had to work out the rounded edges. But this is the easiest thing. So you want a little inch by 3 inches just round the corners of it, and then that gives you a nice little template for the handles. And then you can just go ahead and cut that out. Either you can use scissors or you can use a Stanley knife or whatever you want to use. So I am going to go ahead now. I'm just going to cut the top of my handles out with a Stanley knife, and then I'm going to do the rest with scissors. You should end up with that, hopefully. So my corners aren't the best, but anyway, never mind. Then what we want to do is go ahead and round the top of the handles as well. So you do need to make sure that you are using very good sturdy card. If anything flimsy, these handles are not going to, you know, stand up for it. And what I would do is just fold along each edge so you can get your card into your corner rounder. Because we're going to have to fold these in a minute. So anyway, you may as well do it now and just round the edges of your handles like that. So let me just quickly go ahead and just score the rest of these, burnish even the rest of these lines. And then what we want to do is we're going to turn this over, we're going to come over here, and on these lines here you want to do a diagonal. So you're going to just taper these just ever so slightly. You can use a Stanley knife if you wish, and then we're just going to taper this one here on the end as well. And then we're going to come in here, and again we're just going to taper these, but I'm actually going to taper them at the same time. So I'm going to fold it in half and then just come up and taper like that. It just means you can do 2 at once. And in fact, if we come the other way around, if we come from the top and go that way, we might not end up with that rough edge. So then on the front here, let me just quickly rub my pencil lines out. On the front here, this square at the front here is actually 4 by 4. So you need a piece of pattern paper that is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. You need 2 pieces. So one for the front, one for the back. So I'm using this 12 Days of Christmas paper, and that is going to go on there like that. In fact, I could probably go a bit smaller. I could probably go with a 3 1/2. I think I might go a bit smaller. I think the 3 3/4 is a bit big, so I'm going to go 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. If you want to do a mat and a pattern, you can. I just think it's going to be too much, so I'm just going to go over this with a memento. This is a memento green ink, just so it's got a bit of an edge to it. Just ink my edges. If you want to really go for it, you can. So it's Cottage Ivy was the colour I've used. It's the fade resistant dye ink from Memento. So next we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick these down. Now we need to add some red tape on the side. Before we do that, actually, let's do our score lines. Now if you want to, you can actually pinch these sides, but I think I'm going to score them because I just think that it's going to make it look a bit neater, and it also means you're definitely going to have them in the right place. So on that side section there, at 3/4 of an inch, just want to make a little mark at the top, and the same with this centre section here. So at 3/4 of an inch, just make a little mark. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to score from that mark to this bottom corner. And we're going to do the same on the other side. And I just think it just adds a little bit. So then you haven't got to worry about when you're squishing it, you know, that you're not doing it right or it's in the wrong place or whatever. I just like to be a bit more exact than that. And also, if you've got a thick card, which you kind of need because of your handles, you need your handles to be nice and thick. So you don't want to be, you know, trying to just pinch thick card. It's just not going to work. And so let's just, while we've got it, before we put it together, let's just give those a burnish. So that's done. Now we just need to add our red tape along there. I'm also going to notch the top of that tab because I didn't do it previously. And then while we've got this open, let's turn it over. And on this side here, I'm going to add red tape on the inside of one. So let's have a look. So if this is like this, then that's going to be my, I'd like that to be the back of my bag. So that's the front of my bag. So if that's the front of my bag, that's the one that needs to go down. So I think we need to add red tape on the inside of this and on the outside of this. So let's add red tape on the inside of this one, on the edge. And then we need to add, that's going like that, we're going to need to add red tape on the outside, on the edge of that flap. If you want to, you can add some on here as well. I think I might, just because I don't want them flapping around inside. So I think we'll just put a little bit on here, because it is going to stick to something, because obviously that's going to go down. The flaps are going to go down like that. Then you've got this, and then you've got that. So yeah, you can put it on. You can put it on the outside pieces. In fact, it's probably better on the outside pieces because then you know it's not going to show. Right, so we're going to start with this one first. I'm going to fold this over like that, and then just take off the backing off of here. And we can fold this whole section over like that. We just want to make sure it's nicely lined up. If it looks like it's going to overshoot it, I would just do it in the air. Make sure that it's nicely stuck down. Oh, she says not sticking it nicely. So we've stuck that down like that, and then we need to go ahead and stick the base down. So again, like I said, we're going to pull those two down first, then that one's going to go down, and then that one's going to go down. So let me peel off the backing off of these two flaps. I'm going to put that down, and then we're going to stick this one down like that. I'm just going to fold it over a second and just place it down so I can actually press down on the inside and make sure those tabs are actually stuck. There we go. And then we can open this up, and then we can undo both of these, take these both off. And then we can just fold that over like that and stick it down. Mind you don't bend your handles like I just did. Give it a good press down. And then all we need to do, because that's going to attach like that, is I'm going to add a little Velcro dot just inside here. So I've got some little white ones. So I'm going to take a little white one, and then I'm going to take its little pair, stick the two together, and then we can position it where it needs to be stuck. If you want to measure it so you get it exactly in the right place, you can, like that. And then we're going to squish the two together, give it a good squeeze so it stays stuck like that. So you can see, obviously, with your handles they do bow a little bit, but it's fine. If you want to, you know, reinforce them, you can add paper on them, you could do whatever. I'm probably going to put a peel off. I might put a peel off on it, or I might put a bow around the top. I'm not really sure, but anyway, there's your little there's your little bag. So it's just a really cute little gift bag, and obviously you can add a little tag or a bow or something. So I'm going to see if I can find a little bow to add on. Okay, so in my stash I've just found a few little bits I'm going to decorate with. So there we go. You can really decorate however you want to decorate. And then I'll do the Velcro back up again once the glue is dry. But yeah, so that's the little bag for today. So obviously you could use that for Mother's Day, you can use it any time. It doesn't have to just be Christmas, but I just thought it was really cute. So yeah, so that's the make for today. Just so you know, it measures in total 4 inches by 1.5 by 5.5. So it's a good size. Nice little size, you can fit a few bits in there. So yes, that's the make for today. So please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!